Hi guys, this is Hirosaki. This story is all about what if Naruto was the Dark Phoenix of Konoha. Naruto has a big secret, he isn't the dead last he appears to be. But why would he show that before he is ready to deal with the stones the council loves placing in his way? The Sandaime, having opened his eyes, will do his best to make sure that Konoha will retain the will of fire. Before we start, kindly like and subscribe to this channel and look over the description box for the author of this amazing storyline. Welcome aboard. Chapter 3, Skills Test. Naruto stood in his disguise at Training Ground 61 and was looking around. He was early by 15 minutes to have a look around. The training ground had been guarded by 2 Chunin, which meant it was special. Only the Umbu and Hokage training grounds were guarded. Naruto hadn't cared about the guarded training grounds before. The only one he had been interested in besides the open ones that were farthest away from the village had been Training Ground 44, better known as the Forest of Death. After each Chunin exam he had sneaked in there to see if he could find things that would help with his training, like weapons that were still usable, scrolls and money. He reasoned the dead didn't need them anymore. In the beginning he had felt slightly sick at doing it, but with the animosity he was shown by the villagers he needed some source of weapons, and those would only rust if they were left there for too long. So he had started when he was 9 to go into the Forest of Death when the second part of the Chunin exams was over. He had found out that it took at least 3 days before the cleaning crews went through the forest to get the remaining corpses. He guessed they had too much to do with organizational things. So he normally spammed the forest with his clones to find those that had died or other leftover weapons. Mostly they were perfectly workable still, some needed sharpening, but that was no problem. In 5 hours he normally was finished and had collected all the usable things. The only problem in the beginning had been the transport. He couldn't use sealing scrolls in the beginning. That had been the starting point in finding a way to easier transport weapons in the future. He had found in one of the books at the academy that there were sealing scrolls, but he knew he couldn't get one for him because the shopkeepers would never sell him one. So he needed to learn how to make one himself. It took him 3 months to find the necessary books about sealing and then training that specific seal, but he did it. 1.5 years later, when the Chunin exams were in Konoha again, he had the equipment and skill to seal weapons on site. His most prized find was a chakra conductive tanto. Those weapons that could channel chakra were really expensive and rare. At 10 the Hokage came in company of a medic nin and nodded at Naruto. "Good morning, Dark Phoenix. Good to see you are on time. I have organized for one of my elite jonin to test your skills. He should be here in 10 minutes. This is Arita, he will be on standby to heal you and your opponent if necessary," the Hokage explained. "Good morning, Hokage-sama." Naruto answered with a bow, keeping up his disguise. "That will be great. Who will be testing me?" he asked. "My son Asuma Sarutobi," the Hokage answered. Naruto nodded. He knew Asuma from some of his visits to the Hokage. While the bearded jonin had been out of the village for some time to protect the fire daimyo as one of the 12 ninja guardians, he had returned some years ago and become a normal jonin for the village. He waited with the Hokage and 9 minutes later Asuma arrived. "Good morning, Dad. Why did you call me here?" Asuma greeted. "Good morning, Asuma. Thank you for coming. You are here to assess the skill level of Dark Phoenix here. I have an overall idea what he can do, but there is nothing better than a fight to see what he can do in a real situation. From our estimation he should be around high Chunin to low Jonin level," the Hokage informed his son. "Dark Phoenix, never heard of him," he said, observing the boy. "He doesn't seem too old," he said. "No, he isn't. He has trained in secret to not gain unwanted attention of different fractions in the village," the Hokage said meaningfully. Asuma assumed he was talking about Root and the council that liked to manipulate young talented ninjas to their liking. Okay, what kind of test do you want to have? An all-out fight or going by disciplines? Asuma asked. I think we should go by disciplines. Is that okay with you, Dark Phoenix? The Hokage asked. Of course, Hokage-sama. Naruto answered. With which part should we start? I think I would like to see how you work with weapons first. Asuma himself is a skilled weapon user, so that would be a good starting point. Naruto nodded and unsealed both his tanto and his bow staff. The tanto went on his shoulder and the staff stayed in his hand. Asuma took out his knuckle knives. They watched each other, assessing the stance of their opponent. Then Naruto sprang into action and raced at Asuma. The Hokage was surprised by the speed Naruto showed. That was definitely Jonin level speed. The only Jonins to be faster would probably be Guy and Kakashi. Asuma was ready and blocked the strikes of the bow staff with his knives and fought back. Both weapons clashed time and again. Naruto tried to swipe Asuma's legs with his staff, but he jumped over it without problem. Both opponents evaded and blocked each other's attacks for 5 more minutes before jumping apart. You're definitely good, kid, but let's take this up a notch. Asuma said and channeled wind chakra into his blades. Naruto, knowing that his staff wouldn't hold against wind-enhanced blades, quickly put his staff away and drew his tanto. He channeled his own wind chakra into it. So you are a wind element too. Interesting. Let's see how far you have come. Asuma said and attacked. Tanto and knuckle blades crashed and the more experienced Jonin managed to get a cut on Naruto's arm. Naruto returned the favor by spinning around his axis, disconnecting their weapons and nicking Asuma's pants. Not a bad counter to my attack. Asuma commented. This kid was really good. Judging by his height and stature, the boy was about 12 to 14. To be that good with 2 different weapons and being able to manipulate wind chakra was really something. Naruto returned with a new attack but was forced back by the stronger Asuma over the next minutes. Finally Asuma managed to disarm Naruto and crossed his blades close over his throat. My win. Asuma said and stepped back. Naruto nodded. He hadn't expected to be able to defeat an elite Jonin in one of his strongest disciplines, but he had held out better than he thought he would. That was an impressive start. Next would be Taijutsu. The Hokage said. Asuma nodded and put his knives back in his hip pouch. He took his stance and saw that the boy was in a stance he didn't know and hadn't seen around the village before. He couldn't know that Naruto was in the opening stance of the Namikaze style, the cheetah style. The style was based on speed and fast attacks to vital points. It wasn't made for long exchanges like the animal it was named after. After Naruto had read all the anatomy scrolls in the secret room, he could utilize the style really well. And with his bastardist version of gentle fist and chakra scalpels mixed into the style, it was deadly if Naruto wanted it to be. This time Asuma attacked first, but Naruto dodged his kick and went around him in a split second and tried to attack the spine. Asuma though was too experienced and jumped to the side. Naruto followed him and looked for openings in Asuma's guard. His smaller stature now was an advantage for him as he could use openings easier as a bigger opponent. He brought in some painful hits to Asuma's biceps and upper thigh. Asuma was too good to let him hit vital spots after feeling what a hit did to his muscles. Naruto didn't let Asuma rest and used his superior speed to disable more points, which got more difficult as Asuma tried to stay out of his reach. Finally Naruto managed to cut a whole muscle in Asuma's left leg, which made him fall to his knees. Naruto came up and pointed his glowing hand to Asuma's spine. My win, he said and then stepped back. The Hokage was impressed. That was an impressive show of Taijutsu skill. And that speed reminded him a lot of Minato. But Naruto seemed even better than his father at the same age. And how did he manage to get Asuma's muscles hurt? That looked like gentle fist, but Naruto couldn't know it. The Hyuga kept those secrets within their clan. Very good, Dark Phoenix. The next thing would be Genjutsu. The Hokage said. Wouldn't it have been better to let Kurane test him there? I am not much of a Genjutsu user. Asuma said. Arata had appeared at Asuma's side and began healing his injuries. When he walked to Naruto, he shook his head. I'm okay, he said, and the medic went to the side. I don't think we would need a Genjutsu specialist. I don't want news about Dark Phoenix getting out too soon. Arata here is one of my personal medics and won't tell a thing. I only need to know how good he is at casting them and at dispelling a few lower level ones. I know you can do a B-rank Genjutsu. Asuma nodded. That B-rank Genjutsu was his highest level Genjutsu. It only worked if he got his opponent by surprise. But if his father only wanted to test if Dark Phoenix could break it, it would do. Naruto got ready. Okay, we will start with you starting to cast a Genjutsu at Asuma, Dark Phoenix. The Hokage said. Naruto nodded and went through hand seals at a fast pace. Illusion art, pervert's paradise, he said. The Hokage waited for Asuma to get out of the Genjutsu, but instead he saw that Asuma had started to drool and only looked strangely happy. Then he sported a huge nosebleed and fell back, knocked out. What kind of jutsu was that? The Hokage asked Naruto, whom he swore was grinning brightly under his mask. The Genjutsu shows him the woman he likes, offering him to do whatever sexual fetish he has. It works on nearly everybody, Naruto said innocently. How the hell did you come up with that jutsu? The Hokage asked, baffled. Well, the same way I came up with that ninjutsu, Naruto said, stressing, that ninjutsu. The Hokage, knowing which one he meant, had to suppress a nosebleed himself. It was meant to be a distraction in case I was running away from others. And it isn't limited to men. It works with the general preferences of the one I catch in it, Naruto explained. I am impressed. Can you please wake up Asuma again, so we can continue? The Hokage asked Arata. The medic nodded and pushed his chakra into Asuma's system to break him out of the Genjutsu. Asuma opened his eyes and saw his father, Arata, and Dark Phoenix looking at him amused. Damn, that jutsu is really dangerous. You simply don't want to get out of it, Asuma commented, groaning. Now he was glad that Kurane wasn't here. She would never forgive him. Thankfully nobody knew what his illusion had been. That would be a definite death sentence for him. Okay, let's get this over with. Let's see if you are as good as escaping from a Genjutsu, Asuma said and went through his hand seals. Illusion art, prison of silence, Asuma said. Naruto just stood there and wondered what the jutsu was supposed to do. When should the jutsu start to work, Asuma? He asked. It should already do it, can you hear me? Asuma asked. Yes, no problem. So I guess it should have messed up my hearing, Naruto guessed. Yes, it should. That's strange. It should have worked. I cast it correctly, I'm sure. Asuma wondered. Try another one, Asuma, the Hokage said. Illusion art, hell viewing technique, Asuma announced, but Naruto still stood there wondering why nothing happened. Nothing? The Hokage asked. No. I know what the hell viewing technique should do, as I also know that jutsu, but I don't feel anything. Strange, I didn't even feel any foreign chakra reaching me, Naruto said. You can feel foreign chakra? Arata asked, interested. Yes, I'm a sensor type, Naruto said. That could be a reason. Let me test something, Arata said and activated his mystical palm jutsu. I will come closer with my hands to that cut you got in the weapons fight with Asuma. If I am right, something should stop me, Arata said. Naruto nodded and held out his arm. It was already healed by the Kyuubi, but he wouldn't inform Arata of that fact. In case he wondered, he could make up a minor bloodline for healing. Arata pushed his hands over the cut in Naruto's shirt and was stopped an invisible layer of chakra. I thought so. Young sensors sometimes place a thin layer of chakra over all of their skin to have it easier to use their sensor skills. It's a subconscious thing. That layer of chakra prevents foreign chakra like for genjutsus to enter the body. Therefore they are immune against lower level genjutsus. I guess a genjutsu specialist would still manage to get through, but nobody else. Arata explained. I never heard of something like that. The Hokage said. It's not very common. Perhaps 1 in 100 sensor types does it. Mostly if they teach themselves some of their skills. If they have an experienced sensor to teach them, it normally doesn't happen. Tsunade-sama found this anomaly during the Second Shinobi World War because one on her team had that immunity to genjutsu and she wanted to know if it was possible to teach it to others. Arata said. Okay, this is good to know. Well, I guess we will have to postpone the genjutsu test as it is not possible for us right now to test if Dark Phoenix can break genjutsu. Perhaps when it becomes more pressing I will let Kurane test him. Just to satisfy my curiosity. What is your strongest genjutsu? He asked Naruto. Illusion art, infinite darkness. Naruto answered. Isn't that a jutsu of the Nidaime Hokage? Arata asked. It is. We will have to talk about how you learned that jutsu, Dark Phoenix. For now, I think it is time to examine your ninjutsu. I would like to have a presentation of 5 of your strongest jutsu to see what you can do, and then you will fight against Asuma. The Hokage ordered. Can I have an oath that nobody talks about those ninjutsu? I trust you that you chose trustworthy people to watch this test, but 2 of my jutsus will tell them exactly just who I am. Naruto said. The Hokage was surprised at that request. Could Naruto know his father's most prized techniques? Okay. Arata, Asuma, if I am right about which jutsus Dark Phoenix intends to show us, that oath will be necessary. I make it an S-rank secret to keep quiet about them until I give you permission to talk about them. Understood. Both said. Naruto nodded and took out a tri-pronged kunai from his pouch on his back. He threw it at the training post and vanished in a flash of yellow, reappearing at the kunai and showing a blue spiraling orb into the training post. Raise non. He said and showed the ball through the wood as if it was butter. The Yondaime's jutsus. Arata said, shocked. Flying Thunder God and Raise non. Asuma gave a very good impression of a goldfish. He never had even suspected that the Yondaime could have had a son. That seemed to be the only plausible explanation for this boy to know those jutsus. Naruto flashed back to his original position and went through a series of hand seals. Water release, water dragon bullet. He said and manipulated water from the river into a water dragon that hit the training post, which already had a hole from the raise non. The post was blown away from the powerful jutsu. Naruto waited until the water had settled down and went through his next series of hand seals. Wind release, Twister's fury. He shouted and made 3 tornadoes that blew towards the river and sucked up the water, making them even more dangerous. Then Naruto made his last hand seal. Shadow clone jutsu. He said and created 50 shadow clones. Shit. Was Asuma's only comment. The Hokage was very impressed. He wouldn't have thought that Naruto had that kind of strong ninjutsus in his repertoire. He would be a force to be reckoned with in the future. This only made it more imperative to keep the boy in the village. He needed to choose a good Jonin sensei with whom the boy could bond. It was only one real option there. While Naruto would only stay a genin for 6 months with skills like his, those months needed to be used to start positive bonds to the village. He couldn't take care of that through his teammates. He would be paired with Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto had said himself he had intended to do that to make sure the team passed, and Sakura Haruno. He hoped it would be okay, but perhaps he should ask Naruto about his opinion about Sakura first. He didn't want to anger him even more than he already was. The following fight with Asuma showed that Naruto had a wide range of ninjutsu he could use. Especially his use of replacement and body flicker was fantastic. Asuma didn't manage to get a hit in as Naruto changed places so fast. Together with his speed, he could honestly say Naruto was high Jonin level in ninjutsu. He knew how to do the jutsus and when to use them in a fight. Finally he gave both the signal to stop. Damn it. To have to work like that against a kid his age, I really should start training more. Asuma commented. He had been spammed with clones and tricked by transformations. Mixed with the constantly moving Naruto and his higher level elemental jutsus, it was damn hard to get the kid. If he would use his other skills, Asuma didn't doubt he would be able to go up with Jonin in a few months of real missions. He had noticed that while the kid was good, he made mistakes that someone who had been on 100 missions or so wouldn't make. This meant this kid was a rookie. His opinion rose even more after that revelation. Let him do a few C-rank and B-rank missions and he will be ready to become Jonin. There were a few rookie mistakes that you only get corrected through experience. You should, for example, not wait to see if your jutsu really hit an opponent and neglect your surroundings. Your sensor ability helped you out there, but you should have been more on guard in those situations. Asuma told Naruto, who nodded. I will remember it next time, Asuma. He replied. Okay, the next part is Arita's specialty. I would like a bit more about your knowledge in poisons. The Hokage said. Naruto nodded and went over to Arita. Meanwhile Asuma talked to his father. He is really good. How did you train him and where? I wouldn't have thought you could hide the Yondame's son for 12 years. Asuma asked. Well, even I don't know how he trained. I didn't know he was this strong before he told me some days ago when he brought back the forbidden scroll that Mizuki had stolen. The Hokage answered. You want to tell me that kid learned all that on his own? Where would he get the jutsus? Asuma asked. And why didn't you teach him? I would have thought he would have got special training regarding his father's enemies. I wanted to, but the political situation after the Kyuubi attack was extremely shaky. We had to fear that IWA or Kumo would use our weakness to kill him if they knew who he was. So I hid him away. I couldn't have the villagers talk about him even existing. If he had got special training, people would have asked why. And I didn't want to let Danzo or one of the other idiots know about him. The civilians would have pestered me with the CRA nonsense, even if he doesn't have a bloodline limit, made marriage proposals for their daughters to get more power, and similar things would have happened through the ninja clans that would have fought to raise him to increase their power. The Hokage explained. That makes sense. But it is fishy that he could get this strong on his own with nobody noticing. Asuma admitted. Indeed. I will have a long talk with him how he managed it, but I guess he will keep a lot secret. There are certain reasons he informed me about his skills a few days ago, but they are classified. Now let's see what Arita says about his knowledge about poisons. And then I will ask him to show us some of his seals. He said he was a seal master, so I am curious what he can do. Asuma just nodded. Okay, I think that will do for now, Dark Phoenix. You have a very good foundation in your knowledge. If you continue your studies there, you should reach proficiency in a year or so. Arita said. So what is your verdict? The Hokage asked. He has good knowledge about poisonous plants and animals from which he gets his ingredients for the poisons he uses. His techniques to mix those poisons are good. But his knowledge is limited to paralysing and lethal poisons. If he wants to go further in the area, he needs to branch out. I estimate he is a solid high Chunin level in his skills here. For his age, that is still impressive. I don't know many ninjas that are all-rounders like he is. He should be able to take B-rank missions without too much problem in an experienced team as support. Arata said. The Hokage nodded. There was no way he would let Naruto take A-rank missions in the near future, even if he was skilled. But his team would need to be trained properly so they could send them on C ranks after a short time. Okay, then if I didn't miss anything only Fuinjutsu is left. The Hokage said. Naruto nodded enthusiastically. He loved Fuinjutsu. He took out some seals he had brought with him to show the Hokage. Okay, these are some of the seals I prepared to show you, Hokage-sama. I think they are some of the most useful in the field. This is a modified explosive seal. It first sends a chakra wave out that imitates killing intent, then the explosion goes off. The intention is to briefly paralyze an opponent with the key to keep them within the range of the seal. The next one is a combination of a storage seal and an explosive seal. The weapons stored in the storage part are shot out by the explosive part and can surprise an opponent who doesn't expect to have to dodge weapons. The seal can be prepared in two ways. First, you trigger it with your own chakra from a certain distance, or second, you involve a perimeter seal that reacts to foreign chakra. It has a range about 20 meters. He then took out another type of seal. This is a modified chakra storage seal. You can store chakra of a certain type, like water or fire chakra, in here and release it when you need it. You would only have to meld the chakra into a jutsu after that. Do you mean, with those seals ninja could use jutsus of an element they normally can't use? Asuma asked. Yes. Of course they would need to know the hand seals for the jutsu and meld the chakra, but the elemental manipulation would be taken care of. Naruto said. Fantastic. That would make fights much easier. You would be able to prevent being caught at a total disadvantage. With my element wind and knowledge in fire jutsus, I would have problems with water types. If I had some earth seals, I could take care of that problem. Asuma mused. But how do you load them? Don't you need the elemental chakra first to charge them? That was a problem in the beginning until I came up with chakra converter seals. I am a primary wind type with a secondary water affinity. So I would be hard-pressed against earth techniques if I didn't recognize the jutsu first, which still takes some time for me. I wanted to have a way to use lightning jutsus. So I worked on a seal that would change my wind chakra to lightning chakra. Took me some time to develop it, but after 3 months I had it. And I found out that by using the seals regularly I developed a lightning affinity as my third affinity. I think it is comparable with the Sharingan, training a user to use jutsus of all kinds as it can copy them. Naruto reported proudly. Are you going to sell some of your seals? Asuma asked. Perhaps, I'm not sure yet. Naruto said. He had thought about making money through selling his seals, but who would buy them if they knew he made them? And he didn't know how it would work through a proxy. Perhaps the Hokage could help him there. Okay, I see you really know your seals. To see how good you are overall, we would have to wait for Jiraiya to return from his travels. He's out of the village most of the time maintaining his spy network. The Hokage said. Naruto nodded. He knew that Jiraiya of the Sunin had been his dad's Jonin sensei and was a seal master, the only one the village had at the moment besides himself, and he needed to be evaluated to be acknowledged first. I think we are done here. Dark Phoenix, I want to see you in my office in 2 hours. Arata, thanks for your help, you're dismissed. Asuma, please come to my office in 4 hours. We will then finalize the new Genin teams with the other Jonin senseis. Okay. Asuma said, and Arata bowed. Chapter 4, Genin Teams. 4 hours after the test, the Hokage and the 9 Jonins that would take a team this year, even Kakashi had come on time after the Hokage had threatened his Ika books. Good, now that we are all here, we will go over the teams that will be announced to the new Genin next Monday. The Hokage then proceeded to read the teams to the Jonin. I would like for Genma to take Team 1, Aoba, you get Team 2, Inoichi, you get Team 3, Choma, you have Team 4. Isuna, Team 5, Makiko, you have Team 6. Now, Kakashi gets Team 7, Kurane, you have Team 8 and Asuma gets Team 10. The Hokage informed them. They nodded. If you have any questions about your team, ask Irika Umino, he taught the class over the last 2 years. All except Kakashi are dismissed. The Hokage said. The Jonin left the office after bowing. What did you want to talk about with me, Hokage-sama? Kakashi asked. You have the most important team of the whole year this time, Kakashi. I know that the council will force you to pass the team for Sasuke Uchiha, but I don't want you to play favorites. This is a matter of village security. The Hokage said while activating the privacy seals in the room. Umbu, please wait outside while I brief Kakashi. He ordered. The 4 hidden Umbu left the room. This seems to be really important, Hokage-sama. Kakashi analyzed. It is. Do you know who Naruto Uzumaki really is? The Hokage asked. Yes, he is Naruto Namikaze, Minato-sensei's son. Kakashi answered nodding, his eye looking dead serious now. Correct. I suspected you knew. 2 days ago I found out that Naruto knows about his parents and the fox. He is no genin, he should have normally already been jonin by now. But with the sabotage and hatred the civilian council shows him, he hid it. I had Asuma test Naruto today in a disguise. The boy is a prodigy. He is jonin level in ninjutsu, fuinjutsu, weapons, and taijutsu. We don't really know his level in genjutsu as he is immune to lower level ones because he is a sensor and has his body covered in a chakra layer that blocks invading chakra. A medic informed me that sometimes happens with self-taught sensors. Obviously Tsunade found out about that phenomenon. He knows basics of poisons and is really smart. The problem is that thanks to the idiots on the council Naruto has next to no real connection with the village. He sees me as trustworthy and likes me, but I think the only other ones that could be said about are the Ichirakus. Nobody else in the entire village. Naruto confessed that he would have run away long ago if he had had a chance. Now I know I am old. If I die and Naruto doesn't get new bonds, he will run. I give him a year at most to be able to not be caught by the Umbu anymore if they were sent to get him back. He won't let the council screw him anymore. And Naruto has inherited both his parents' talent. He is the heir of the Uzumaki, Namikaze, and Senju clans. And he is more talented than even Itachi was. I don't have to tell you that we can't let him go somewhere else. I want you to train your team properly, Kakashi. No being late more than half an hour. Naruto hates his teammates, but will accept them until he can take the Chunin exams in 6 months. So the only person he would willingly connect to, if he is treated properly, are you, his Jonin sensei. Naruto is important for the future of the village. If he leaves, the most probable destination he could go to is Kumo. They treat their Jinchuriki properly now. I don't have to tell you that it would be a catastrophe for Konoha if Kumo got Naruto in their ranks. He knows both Rasengan and the Flying Thunder God Jutsu of his father. He is probably a Fuinjutsu master and his ninjutsu is impressive. He has a wind affinity with a secondary water affinity and a developed lightning affinity from him developing a chakra converter seal that turned his wind chakra and lighting chakra and then training lightning jutsus. Both his normal affinities are trained. I don't know how he managed to hide his training. He was only willing to tell me he found a secret place where he lives now and trains. He also found scrolls and other things there. You have the next 6 months to get Naruto a new bond to the village. If you can, more than that. Make sure nobody screws him over on missions in the village and get the other 2 ready for C-rank missions ASAP. Sasuke shouldn't be a problem. The boy wants to get stronger and you should be able to break him out of his superiority ideas. I think the bigger problem will be Sakura. The girl didn't get good marks on her physical exams. The reason she became top kunoichi is that the written test was a big part of the exams and that she has perfect chakra control due to her small reserves. If you have to, break her, but Team 7 has to get strong soon. The Hokage impressed the importance on Kakashi. Kakashi was really surprised. He hadn't known that Naruto was that strong, but he could understand that he had a strong dislike for the villagers. He had saved him more than once from mobs when Naruto was younger. I understand, Hokage-sama. I will think of something to teach Naruto to keep him interested. I can also tell him more about his parents if he wants to. Do you know if he can use Kyuubi's chakra? Kakashi asked. No, he can't. But he can suppress it really well so far. He thinks that if he is strong enough on his own he doesn't have to rely on the dangerous chakra of the fox. He knows that he can't trust the fox. He had met it after he found out that he was the Jinchuriki key for Kyuubi, but other than trying to get Naruto to let him out he didn't try anything so far. And Naruto is too smart to not know that if he lets the fox out, he will lose himself. The Hokage explained. Good. Because I wouldn't know how to teach him that. I will make sure Naruto will start to be better connected with some of his peers. I think I could get at least Asuma to arrange team sparring sessions if his team passes, which I think they will. I haven't seen any version of an Inoshikacho team that failed the Genin exams. Perhaps Kurane would also do it. Her team looks like they could pass too. Kakashi said. I trust you, Kakashi. We have 6 months until Naruto makes Chunin. By the way, get back to your old level in Umbu and if possible surpass it. At the moment you are my only real option as a successor. The only others would be Jiraiya and Tsunade, and I can't imagine that Tsunade would come back to the village, and I fear what Jiraiya would do as Hokage. And if neither of you take the head it will probably go to Danzo. I understand, Hokage-sama. Kakashi said. Good, you are dismissed, Kakashi. The Hokage said. Kakashi left the office. The day of the team placements was there and Naruto for the first time wore his new outfit. He had long black pants that were taped with dark red bandages. He wore a dark red mesh shirt under a dark gray shirt with 3/4 sleeves and a hood. He wore a dark red belt with 2 pouches on his back. On both of his thighs were pouches for shuriken and senbon that were strapped over black bandages. Over the shirt he wore a dark red vest with pockets specially made to store scrolls and small containers for different things. Naruto kept his poisons there. He had dark red gloves with metal plates on the back, in which he had sealed his tanto and his bow staff. The hood of his shirt hung over his vest on his back. He would only put it on for missions where his bright hair would be a hindrance. He looked in the mirror and was happy with how he looked now. He finally looked like a real shinobi. He turned off the lights of his home and walked up the stairs. He made sure that he was alone in the alley and then left through the hidden entrance. Once the wall was back in position, he jumped up on the roof and went to the academy. He reached the classroom and took a seat in the back. Only 2 others were there. Hinata Hyuga and Shino Abarame. Shino gave him a short nod and Hinata turned red again when he smiled at her. Naruto didn't really understand why she always turned red, but as she was never mean like the other students, he liked her. Shino just shook his head, seeing the display of Naruto and Hinata. Naruto was really dense sometimes. He knew Naruto wasn't as bad and stupid as he supposedly was. His allies had told him that Naruto had excellent chakra control and intentionally messed up things. He had observed Naruto after finding out that and came to the conclusion that Naruto wanted to stay at the bottom of the class for some reason. He didn't know his reason, but he respected Naruto's privacy. Hinata was really hard-pressed to not faint when Naruto walked into the class. She had been really happy when he had passed his exams. Many had thought he would fail them. Now he wore some new clothes and he looked really good in them. He obviously had hidden his muscular body under the old, bulky, orange jumpsuit. His new clothes sat tighter on his upper body and didn't leave much to imagination. How could a 12-year-old boy look that good? Now the other students began filling the room. Some were surprised to see Naruto in a new outfit, but most of them ignored him. Though some girls gave him appreciative looks. Then the daily stampede occurred. Sakura and Ino raced each other to the classroom to decide who would be allowed to sit next to Sasuke. Stupid really. They were kunoichi now, they should act like it. Once they had entered the room they fought who had won. Naruto had enough. He had watched that embarrassment of kunoichis too long. He quickly threw a senbon at each of them and hit both their thighs. They looked shocked, then they had problems moving. What the? Ino asked, then she couldn't move her lips anymore. Finally they are quiet. Naruto mumbled. Only Shino and Hinata had noticed that he had thrown the senbons at Ino and Sakura and were impressed with his accuracy and the obviously paralysing agent on the senbons. When Iruka came into the class, Ino and Sakura were still paralysed. Naruto mentally counted down for the poison he used to lose its effect. It should only hold for 30 more seconds. It was only meant to paralyze for 5 minutes. More than enough time in a one-on-one fight to take out your opponent. What happened here? Iruka asked. Well, Ino and Sakura fought who would sit next to Sasuke, then they were hit with a senbon each and were paralysed. A girl informed Iruka. Who did this? Iruka asked. Naruto raised his hand. Don't worry, the effect only lasts for 5 minutes, Iruka-sensei. They should be back to normal in 3, 2, 1, now. Naruto said. True to Naruto's words, Ino and Sakura stumbled when their muscles reacted again. In 2 minutes they are back to normal. Naruto said disinterestedly. Why did you do that, Naruto? Iruka asked sternly. They were too loud and an embarrassment for every kunoichi that takes her profession serious. I just wanted to show them what can happen if they don't keep an eye on their environment. They didn't even think to pull out the senbons as soon as they hit them. That would have shortened the time the poison worked. Naruto said without remorse. The whole class looked shocked. Naruto had never behaved like this. He had always been a goofball. Not this serious. The most surprised was Iruka, who started to have doubts about their assessment of Naruto's skills. Over the years he had lost his hatred for Naruto. He had understood that Naruto wasn't the fox and never treated him worse than his other students. He even admired how the boy persevered despite the hatred of the villagers. Nonetheless, it's wrong to attack your comrades. Iruka said. That wasn't an attack, that was a rescue mission for the ears of those that have sensitive hearing and easily get headaches. If I would have wanted to attack them, they would be dead now. Naruto countered. I would just have had to use a deadly poison instead of a paralyzing one or aimed at a vital point. With their reaction times they would be dead before help would have arrived. Iruka couldn't say anything against that. Naruto was right. He could have easily killed them. He wondered why the boy had changed so dramatically. Well, sit down, Ino and Sakura, we will start with the team placements. Iruka said. Grumbling, the two girls took seats, ironically on both sides of Sasuke. Iruka gave his class a speech how proud he was of them for graduating and how the real life of ninjas now waited for them. He told them to do their best and then proceeded to read out the teams. Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno. With that, Sakura's head crashed onto the table and Ino mocked her, and Sasuke Uchiha. Sakura cheered. Take that, Ino pig. True love conquers all. She shouted loudly only to be hit with a senbon again. This time in her shoulder. She turned around to shout at Naruto only to be paralyzed again. Don't worry, that will take 5 minutes to wear off again. You can continue, Iruka-sensei. Naruto said, shaking his head at Sakura's idiocy. He had told her to first take out the senbon. Iruka just shook his head and wondered about the display of accuracy from Naruto. That point was where normally a vein was. Did he know anatomy that well? He hadn't shown anything like that before. Teammate, Hinata Hyuga, Kiba and Yazuka and Shino Abarame. Iruka said, and the three looked at each other. Team 9 is still active, so Team 10 are Shikamaru Nara, Koji Akimichi, and Ino Yamanaka. What? Why do I get the lazy ass and the one who only eats when forward girl gets to be on Sasuke's team? She ranted, only to be hit with another senbon into her hip. She grabbed the senbon and pulled it out and turned angrily to Naruto. But she couldn't even start her rant because she was paralyzed. Better. 3 minutes, at least she remembered to take out the senbon quickly. Naruto commented. Naruto, please refrain from paralyzing your comrades. Iruka admonished him. Why should I? And I only use the term comrades very loosely with most of the class. Naruto said. You don't honestly expect me to treat them any different than they did me all those years? If you did, forget it. I have had it with the shit. Naruto stated. Iruka was worried. Naruto clearly bore a strong dislike for most of the class. It was understandable, but why did he show it now? Was the fox taking over? Ha, what could a dead last like you do to us? The son of a shop owner that always kicked Naruto out asked. Naruto answered by vanishing from his seat and holding a kunai to the boy's throat. Don't underestimate me. You know nothing about me. I dare you to live one day of my life. You will want to kill yourself. You are not even close to strong enough to get through. Naruto said in a low voice. Naruto, that's enough. Iruka shouted. He asked for it. Naruto answered and vanished again to return to his seat. In his seat Sasuke was seething. How could the dead last have those abilities? Only he, an Uchiha, should have them. He was the rookie of the year. Normally Sakura would have yelled at Naruto to stop trying to be cool, but she couldn't, the poison still worked. Then Ino's paralysis stopped. She first wanted to yell at him, but thought better of it and sat down. Twice having been hit with senbons and being paralyzed was enough. And Naruto would obviously do it again if he felt they were too loud. Half an hour after the other teams had been taken by their Jonin senseis, Team 7 still sat in the classroom. Sasuke was busy glaring at Naruto, Sakura was mooning over Sasuke and Naruto was drawing in a notebook. He was working on a new seal and everything was better than having to deal with his so-called teammates. Then the door opened and a silver-haired man with gravity-defying hair came in. Naruto looked up. He recognized the man. He was the Jonin he had copied the shadow clone jutsu from. He was Kakashi Hatake, one of the best Jonin in the village. His dad's old student. It seemed like the Hokage had kept his word and given him a sensei who wouldn't hate him for the fox. Kakashi had to know about sealing and perhaps he even knew that he was the Yondame's son. My first impression, you are boring. Meet me at the roof in 5 minutes. He said and disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Sasuke and Sakura stood up and walked out of the room. Naruto waited a moment and then followed. If there were traps on the way, the two idiots would trigger them. He would stay alert. It was always better to be on guard and over the years it had become second nature to him. He heard cursing in front of him. Obviously Kakashi's lateness had a reason. True to his suspicions, Sakura was trapped in a sling of ninja wire around her feet and dangling from the ceiling. Sasuke was pinned to the wall with 2 shuriken through his sleeves. You really should listen better. I told you to always be on guard. There were only a few reasons our sensei would be late, and preparing a small test with traps was one of them. He said. He threw a kunai at the wire that held Sakura in the air and made her fall to the ground. Get the bastard freed and follow me, he said, and walked on. On the way he lazily disabled 2 more traps. Then they reached the door to the roof. Naruto carefully checked for more traps on the door and found none. He opened it a little bit, only for Sakura shoving him out of the way, being impatient. She shouted they would be late. Naruto threw himself down when he felt projectiles coming at them. Sasuke, who had seen that there would be traps to expect, followed Naruto's example. Both avoided being hit. Naruto rolled out of the line of fire and was ready to defend himself in case of an attack. He saw that Sakura was pierced by 5 senbons and whining. Sasuke behind him was also ready for another attack. Well, my second impression is, we need to work on your speed in disabling or avoiding traps. You are late. You needed 6.5 minutes to get here. But I have to acknowledge that you at least got here as a team. Even if the girl shouldn't have got that impatient. Better being late than dead. If I was an enemy I could have killed you easily. Which leads us to my next question, what was your first mistake? Kakashi asked, looking sternly at them. Taking the route you expected us to take. We could have avoided this by using another route. The best way would have been if we had used chakra to stick to the wall and climbed up here. But as 2 of us don't know this exercise and we are supposed to be a team, we had to take the only other route. Naruto said. Correct. That exercise will be one of the first things you will learn during your time as genin. That is if you manage to become genin. Kakashi said, I smiling. What do you mean, if we manage to become genin? We graduated, so we are genin. Sakura said. No, not yet, but I will tell you about that later. Sit down. Kakashi instructed them. He pointed at 3 benches in front of him. The 3 sat down with Naruto checking the underside of his bench for traps but not finding any. Kakashi nodded appreciatively at Naruto's action. For now I want you to give me a short introduction of yourselves. Name, age, likes, dislikes, hobbies and dreams. Pinky, you start. Kakashi ordered. Sakura looked confused. How should we do that, sensei? Couldn't you start to give an example? She asked. What does Shinobi Rule number 3 say? Blackie. Kakashi said, ignoring Sakura's question. A ninja has to always follow a direct order of his superior. Sasuke answered. Correct. Kakashi answered. Sasuke was impressed with this jonin. He clearly knew what he did and had a no-nonsense attitude. Perhaps this would work out well. He would see how strong he was. So, Pinky, I gave you a direct order and I expect you to follow my orders or you should just quit being a ninja. Sakura nodded, intimidated by Kakashi. Yes, sensei. My name is Sakura Harano. I am 12 years old. The thing I like, more the person I like is. She looked at Sasuke and blushed, my hobby is. She again looked at Sasuke and blushed harder and giggled, my dream is. She looked at Sasuke and squealed. Your dislike? Kakashi asked, annoyed. He just had to get a fangirl. Ino pig in Naruto. She shouted. We will have to work on your attitude. Shinobi Rule number 25, Blondie. A ninja never shows his emotions. Naruto recited calmly. Correct. Kakashi said. Sasuke was surprised. He didn't think Naruto had paid attention in class. And then his new skills. Why was Naruto so different than before? He would find it out. Sakura huffed. She had the right to show her love to Sasuke. Okay, next is Blackie. Kakashi said. Sasuke obviously disliked the nickname but kept quiet. Sasuke Uchiha, 12 years old. I like nothing in particular and have many things I dislike. My hobby is training. I don't have a dream, more of an ambition. I will resurrect the Uchiha clan and I will kill a certain somebody, he stated. Sakura had hearts in her eyes, thinking Sasuke was so cool. Naruto rolled his eyes. The emo had no reason to be all egoistical and full of hate. He was treated like a pampered prince in the village. Kakashi had expected something like that. Okay, next Blondie. Kakashi continued. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, I am 12 years old. I like the old man and Ichirakus. I dislike most of the villagers, especially those that can't distinguish a scroll and a kunao. My hobby is training and gardening. My dream is to become the strongest ninja ever and show this village just how much they screwed up. Naruto said. He really is different from what his file said, but Hokage-sama warned me. If we don't get him out of the darkness, he could become a problem for the village. Not that I can blame him. Kakashi thought. Okay, my name is Kakashi Hatake, I'm 26 years old. My likes and dislikes are none of your concern for now. I have many hobbies and my dream, I never really thought about it, he told them. The only thing we found out was his name and his age. Sasuke and Sakura thought. I know that voice from somewhere. Naruto thought, trying to place the voice of his sensei. Now that introductions are over, I will come to the part that you aren't genin yet. There is a rule in the village that all genin have to be confirmed by their respective jonin senseis. Each sensei gives his team a test. And from the 27 genin that passed the graduation exams in your year, only 9 will be accepted as genin. That means this test has a probability of failure of 67%. Kakashi pointed out. What? But what was the meaning of the exams then? Sakura protested. There was no way in hell she would give up being on the same team as Sasuke. That was to weed out the hopeless cases. The only one that has a say if you become genin or not am I. Kakashi said, giving an imposing figure with his arms stemmed at his sides and looking down at them. Naruto's memory finally connected the voice and the pose. Dog? He questioned mentally. Dog had been an umbu that had often protected him when he was younger. Naruto really hoped his sensei was his old umbu guard. He had really liked Dog, especially as the man had often given him some sweets to help him over the shock after attacks. Kakashi handed them a piece of paper with information. The test will be tomorrow morning at 7 at Training Ground 3. Bring all your equipment. Oh, and you better don't eat breakfast or you will just throw up. Kakashi informed them. Then Kakashi disappeared in a cloud of smoke again. Sasuke stood up and walked away, Sakura closely behind him to try and get a date with him. Naruto wondered how long it would take for her to be killed on a mission like that. He decided preparation was necessary and used the body flicker to get to Training Ground 3. He spent 3 hours inspecting the training ground to be prepared for the next day. He didn't know if his so-called teammates would remember the lesson about knowing the terrain before a fight, but he did know that they wouldn't listen if he told them about it. Naruto then went into the woods to a river where he knew tasty fish could be caught. He caught 3 fishes for his dinner, went to his field to get some fresh vegetables and then went to prepare his food. A small campfire and an hour of cooking later, he had grilled fish and roasted vegetables. He ate and then extinguished the fire. On his way home he took to the roofs to avoid the glares from the villagers. He also didn't want to be found by messengers of the council. They would surely bitch about his behavior in class. Well, let them bitch. He was a ninja under the command of the Hokage, they had no power over him. Kakashi had observed Naruto after the meeting was over. He was positively surprised that he went to the training ground where the test would be to get an idea which environment he would have to work with. After that he caught himself some fish and disappeared somewhere else. Kakashi let him go. It wouldn't be good if Naruto thought he followed him. He needed to gain Naruto's trust to help him. From his estimation, the team meeting had gone well enough. Naruto was good and knew how to act as a ninja. Sasuke needed to get over his complexes. The best way to get there would be to practically isolate him from the village until the Chunin exams. So he would have to carefully choose the D-rank missions his team did. No missions inside the village where the villagers could show their bias against Naruto and towards Sasuke. But at least Sasuke had the necessary skill to be a ninja. Attitudes could be corrected over time. Getting skills that should have been taught in the academy to an appropriate level was harder. Sakura would have to go through hell. She didn't consider her surroundings, she was loud, had a superiority complex towards Naruto and was a fangirl. Really bad combination. He would see her skills in a battle situation tomorrow. But he didn't expect much. That's it for this reading. Hit like and subscribe for a free ticket pass going to the different worlds of anime fanfictions. Looking forward to having you on board again.